As we said in the morning, it could well turn out to be 90 days simply because everybody is trying to do this. Happiest Minds too, in some sense, has done this, but they've also delivered a steady quarter with revenue growth across businesses. Well, I was in conversation with the management. Let's tune into that. Strong Q4 revenue momentum, one-time bad debt impact, but an upward revision of the FY27 constant currency revenue growth guidance to 12.5% from 10%, a new enterprise AI platform launch, aggressive AI team scaling plan. There is so much to talk to Joseph Anantharaju, co-chairman and CEO, and Venkatraman Narayanan, managing director of Happiest Minds. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in, both of you. And I can say, it's a decent quarter, but it's the outlook ahead that interests me more. So I'm going to start off with that, Joseph. FY27 growth guidance and pipeline visibility. That's my first point, because you've recently upgraded, I believe, your FY27 constant currency guidance to 12.5%, citing accelerating AI-first momentum. What is that the driver behind this upgrade, or large deal conversions, GenAI pipeline, or other factors?
It's a mixture, actually, of reasons, and several reasons that have gone into it. Underlying all of that was a very detailed revenue plan exercise that we conducted in March, that was at individual customer level, and with each IG or BU and the respective sales team taking responsibility. And we stress tested it again just a couple of weeks back before presenting it to the board. So we're 2 months into the quarter, so Q1, Q2, you have a decent visibility. So that was what gave us the confidence. But if you look at the drivers, as you rightly pointed out, the pipeline is looking very healthy. There was a 27% increase year on year, quarter on quarter in pipeline. And what is equally heartening is that there are several large deals cutting across multiple quarters and years in the pipeline. So this gives us a little bit more of stability and cushion when making a forecast like this. But I think what is really driving a lot of the customer traction, as you rightly pointed out, is the AI-first strategy. We're seeing some of the customer POCs and smaller projects that we used to do getting converted into larger implementations. We have a couple of $1 million AI implementations going on, with a few in the pipeline that are of equal size. We're also seeing quite a bit of demand from customers to use AI, and some of it is proactive, where we've been going and evangelizing to customers, where you can use AI in their SDLC or in their infrastructure and security to get a higher level of productivity, and therefore accelerate your roadmaps and reduce your spend and do more, basically. And I think some of the strategies we had put in place last year around P, large account, GCC, having some SAP experience that's related to AI. All of these, we've got people on board to execute on them, and they will start contributing revenues this year. So that's what gives us, these are the drivers that gave us the confidence to give the 12.5% and aspirational 15% guidance.
In fact, Venkat, that was going to be my next question. Actually, part one is, how much revenue visibility do you already have for FY27? And what would it take to move towards that aspirational 15%?
See, we don't give the typical numbers of TCV and ACV that other companies talk about, but we give relevant guidances like repeat sales happen to be about 92% of our revenues. So that's one. Second is, 52% or 50% plus of our revenues come from customers who have been with us for more than 5 years. We also now have started sharing our pipeline and strength of pipeline. So it's all of these put together, which we communicate the kind of revenue uptick that we have. And this has been traditionally the case, because we have taken a view that giving a number which really doesn't get followed up through on subsequent calls or on quarters doesn't make too much of sense. So that's one. As far as our pipeline is concerned, it's I should say the best it has been in many quarters. We are getting into FY27 on a strong footing. Just to give you a perspective, every quarter from our IPO, we have grown sequentially. Yes, there have been muted quarters and high quarters, but we have managed to keep that trend going along. And given the way we have ended the year, and we are looking at the pipeline, the signups, and the absorption of AI first and AI capabilities that we are taking to market, it's giving us a real confidence that this 12.5% with a possible upside of 2.5% is possible.
Okay. Venkat, you guys announced this enterprise AI platform. And I've seen a lot of companies in the last 5-6 days do that, right? Wipro apparently has done that. Emphasis we know has done that. Tata Elxsi, if I'm not wrong, has done that too. So what's happening here? And for you in particular, how does this impact?
So it's a good thing. It's we are not standing out or we are not outstanding. One point. Largely, you should see this as one of the many things that we are doing. So we have got Ellipse for security, Elara for customer support. We have got Eduvi for education, Rel AI build for our internal SDLC, rebuilding solutions, Artha banking. We are infusing quite a bit of AI. And we are creating multiple agentic platforms, agentic capabilities across multiple IGs or industry groups that we have spoken about many times over. So this is, it's a progress. Essentially, the sign that we are giving is we are not sitting constant. There is not one platform or a solution which can address everybody's issues or requirements. You have to keep evolving. If you have seen, the landscape of AI tools is just exploding. Everybody is coming and telling you giving you a reason as to why this tool is better than something else and how they're using agentic AI or AI capabilities. So it's a need of the hour to be sure that we create such solutions which are ahead of time, which gives the customer the confidence that this is possible. So the new platform that we have talked about is a industry agnostic platform, which is first we are building it along with a healthcare customer of ours, but at the same time, we are making sure that this is something that can be replicated for other customers across other verticals. So replicable solutions is the underlying theme. AI is the technology that's being used, and repeatability is the business case here, if I look at it from an overarching perspective.
Nicely put. And Joseph, I would want to come to you on just extend this topic a bit. I think IT leader after RD leader was saying that AI will eventually become a tool to use. It's not making IT services extinct. It took Jeff Bezos' this comment to make people realize that, oh yes, now we're talking about it per se. But I'd love to know from you, how are client conversations happening right now? Is AI fast? Because I think Uber mentioned that it is becoming expensive. Microsoft probably mentioned that too. The costs are now outweighing the usage and the usability of AI. What's happening here? Are you getting customers telling you that help us implement AI, and therefore instead of AI becoming a disruptor, is AI now becoming an enabler for firms which are thinking ahead, as Venkat just said?
Yeah, I think you're right. And if you see a month back, we put out a press release as well in which both Sridhar, who heads at GBS, and I made it very clear that whether it's an Anthropic or a Copilot or any of these LLM tools, solutions, platforms that you have out there, end of the day, they're enablers. They provide you with the model and the logic, but that needs to get implemented in the context of a customer use case, in the context of a domain, and it has to be done ensuring that security, reliability, all of these are inbuilt. And that's where, a company like Happiest Minds or any other IT services company comes in. And again, if you look at in the past, you had Microsoft, Oracle, all of them having their own consulting arms. But, what we saw then and what we believe will happen now is that the innovation and the adoption that these companies will accelerate will lead to more opportunities for IT services companies. And in many of the conversations that we are having with customers, they're looking to Happiest Minds, and I'm sure other IT service companies are also finding customers looking to them to provide distilled learnings from across customers, some of the internal innovation that we do, some of the things that we play around with, whether it's on their end customer side, imbibing these capabilities into their platform, into their customer experience layer, or into their back-end operations, or in many cases, increasingly into their software lifecycle to make sure that they're able to develop their applications and platforms faster, be able to do things they were not able to do earlier in terms of modernization, retiring tech debt very aggressively. And optimizing your infra support and security so you can free up money for more of your innovation. So that's where I see customers being interested rather than just looking at, penny pinching or saying, how do I cut this 5%? And the point you made about tokens is very valid. And, if you have to look at analogy out there, it's the cloud adoption. Customers just jumped into it in the mid 2015 to 2020, and then suddenly realized that their outflow on cloud consumption, the CFO would come down. And I think right now, normally the high-tech customers are a little ahead. And the ones that we adopted agentic AI and some of these tools, they're coming back and asking us, how do you come back to us and tell us how will you optimize your token utilization? What are you going to do? And we come up with a few constructs. But at some point, as you rightly pointed out, you have to weigh off, like you talked about data center versus public cloud. You'll have to look at, the current construct that I have of the current automation tools plus human beings that we have, is that more efficient than using a heavy dose of digital workers with a high token consumption? That's, sometimes it's a little difficult to manage your token consumption as well, at least as of today. So I think it's a very, very relevant point, and that's what you need to look at.
Well put. Okay. We have 60 seconds, Venkat. Please carry on.
No, something akin to, fuel guzzling cars. Very powerful and possible, but at some point in time, people sit up and take cognizance of the fact that they are fuel guzzlers.
It's gonna be and maybe the AI models are token guzzlers, as now we've seen so many people can't even have a control on how much of the token cost happens.
Yeah, you mean you open up and your employees are using it to do their own thing.
Diet plans and vacation plans.